Hello, welcome to Jack's slightly impromptu, but why not GME stock tracker stream. I'm super tired, I'm running on 3 hours sleep, so we'll see how this goes. It's good to see all of you. We've got like a really small turnout today, so this is going to be awesome. But say hi in chat, I want to see who you are. Also, I have no idea if you can hear me, and I have no idea if the background music is like way too loud or way too quiet, so please let me know, because I have earphones in my ears, but I can actually only hear myself. How are you all doing? Welcome to MLH's March Challenges. If you have absolutely no idea what this is, it's pretty simple. Every single day in March, pretty much, coaches are having a go. You can't hear the background music. We're going to go with no background music then, because I'm not even going to try and fix that right now. But basically, for every single day in March, we're going to have a go at completing some kind of challenge. This could be using an API, it could be building something, it could be doing something random. Aaron's here like, hey, it's Jack from Major League Hacking. It is. But today, what we are doing is we are building a GME stock tracker. You might be wondering, what on earth is that? Well, GME is of course the best stock. In fact, there's stocks and there's chunks. And what we're going to be doing is, also, yeah, it's going to be terrible audio today. I'm sorry, friends. It's one of those ones. And this lesson is recorded, but what we're going to do is we're going to try and basically pull some API data and show it on a graph is kind of the main thing we're doing, while also including a substantial amount of memes, because that is our aim. And the reason we're doing this session this way is that rather than building out some super fancy stock tracker, I've done intentionally very little research on how to build this. And the reason I've done really little research on how to do this is I want you to see kind of my process from going from literally nothing to ending up with like, it's going to be terrible, but in like less than 2 hours time, we're going to have something vaguely resembling some kind of app. That was kind of English. But before we do that, Mr. Ryan Swift says there was things I have to tell you, and so I'm going to tell you them. So let me go and share my screen. Apologies that the background music isn't working, by the way. It's one of those days where nothing in terms of tech is working properly, but we're going to get through it. So if I share my screen, what I need you to do is head over to Discord, and I'm going to go and show you my Discord. In the March Challenges Announcements channel, you won't have this many crazy amounts of tickets and like channels, but you should see my message here. What I want you to do is I want you to go and click pack/March Challenges. I want you to go to the link that will appear, and I want you to go and hit register or check in for this specific, for like the overall March challenges. You will have already done that potentially, but go and give it a go. And then after you have done that, I want you to go and click this register for a challenge link where it's build a GME stock tracker. When you've done that, hit register and check in again. It's 2 buttons. The reason we do this is kind of how we track which are the coolest workshops. And I personally think this is the coolest, but I'm jealous. Sorry, I'm like slightly biased. When you've done that, you are good to go. At the end, we're going to try submitting whatever we make. But yeah, for now, that's all I need you to do. And all of those links are on the Discord channel in the March challenges. But that's all I've prepared for today, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from scratch and we're actually just gonna build an app. And the first thing I need to decide is where we're gonna build this. Am I gonna set up a local environment? Am I not? What I'm going to say is that for now, let's try using glitch.com. And glitch.com is awesome. It's a way of basically spinning up, a website or whatever in the cloud without having to worry about getting all the dependencies set up and all of that boring stuff. No. Hang on. My 1Password needs me to log in on Safari. Give me 2 seconds. Let me go and grab my GitHub login. But yeah, TLDR is we're going to try just building from scratch and we're going to see what happens. I need to grab a 2FA code. Now I'm going to be logging in using GitHub onto Glitch. You could build your own. Like, this isn't necessarily a tutorial, so like, sure, you're welcome to follow along with me, but the idea of this challenge is you can totally follow along at home, but I think you should instead try and get your own spin on what I'm building. So you're literally going to see me word vomit, and you're going to see me effectively just try and see what sticks. So I'm going to make a new project on Glitch, and it's going to be a very basic web page. What we're going to build here is not going to have any kind of back end, and we're just going to see what happens. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to open a whiteboard, and I'm going to try and work out what I'm trying to build today. And a really cool whiteboard app is called AWW app, which is unfortunately being deprecated into Miro, but for now we can use it. And here's what I'm thinking. I say we build a web page, because a really good way of building something is to plan it first. We're going to build a web page. It's going to have like a bar at the top, and this bar at the top, I don't know what color it's going to be, but we'll go and put a fill color on anyway. And we'll just put it blue for now. We can always change this. And this bar at the top is going to be our nav bar, and it's going to have like some text on it for our logo. And it's like, my logo goes here. I'm going to have to design our logo because we don't even have a logo yet. And then we could have some options on here. And what I wanted to do effectively is have a graph, and this graph is going to be like kind of stock activity for, and it's going to be for GME. But I want this to be a drop down. I want this to be like changeable. And so like we're going to try building it for just GME first, and if we have time afterwards, we can do that. And then here we could like, let's say we could display some stats maybe. But see, what I'm doing is I'm developing something, but I'm not necessarily jumping straight into code. I'm trying to come up with some kind of plan before I jump straight in. Okay, so this is what I think I'm gonna build. It's just gonna be a basic web page. We're not gonna build a backend today just because we have so little time. So what I'm gonna do is, now I've got this plan, I'm just gonna go and head back to my Glitch project. And just to kind of give you an idea of how this works, on Glitch, I can click preview next to my code. And basically anything I edit in here is also going to get edited inside of Glitch, which is really, really awesome. Okay, chat, I need a hand. What do you think, if I am building a thing to track GME stock, to basically view a graph of some sort on a website of how their stock has historically performed, what pieces do you think I need? Let me know in Twitch chat, because I'm really curious what you think. Because I have some ideas of what's needed, but do you? Also, I'm going to apologize if you can really easily hear my keyboard and mouse and chair today. Basically, TLDR is I have a brand new mic, but I do not yet have a brand new mic stand and my old one broke. So you're dealing with like table mic today in the perfect place to get all of the really annoying sounds from all around my apartment. But yeah, let me know in chat, what pieces are we going to need? Because if we're building an app that's going to track GME, it's going to display it on a graph, and it's gonna kind of appear on a web page. There's a couple of different parts there. Adam is saying, hey, you're behind the streams. You're not sure, but you think you are. Interesting. Well, okay, let me think. I think the first thing we're going to need to do is find a way of pulling GME's stock data, right? Like, sure, we could just make an Excel spreadsheet. A time ticker, yeah, Andrew, that's a good one, actually. Now, I don't think we're going to get real time done today, but yeah, we're going to need something to kind of track it. But we're going to need the GME data in the first place, right? So let's find out how we're going to pull this GME data. Let me think. Let's do free stocks API. Let's see if one exists, because I'm sure one exists. It's this top one, Alpha Advantage. Oh, well, it can get a free API key, but let's not do that yet. Let's have a look at their documentation. Is this going to be any good? I know what I want. I want like historical data here. And well, here I can pull stuff like the company info. So we could use this to show our general info about GME. Okay, because this is our demo, but we could totally do that. Can we view kind of like indicators? That's what I'm looking for. Can we view like a graph or like just get data about the stock? Okay, let's have a look at daily adjusted actually. Let's look at that. If I pull IBMs, for example, what does this look like? Oh, interesting. Oh, yes, Henry's got a really good idea. It's like we could pull an RSS feed. Now, an RSS feed would work, but I'm not sure if there is any RSS feeds to actually pull this kind of data. It's a really good point, but I'm not sure if that exists. But this API, like this seems like, look, we can get every day that the stock market is open, we can get the open and the high and the low and the close price. So I'm like, this looks like it's probably what we're gonna need, I think. I'm not sure though. Oh, Adam can apparently hear the background music. Amazing. Well, I'm not quite sure how because I can't hear it, but that's amazing. So this is a lot of historical data we can get. So I'm gonna go and sign up for this API key. I've never, like, full transparency, I have never used this API in my life, ever. So I have no idea if it's gonna work, but yeah. So let's go and throw that in chat. And what we're gonna do is, let's go and get our free API key today. And we're gonna let it load. I am, let's say, a student. I'm Major League Hacking. And my email is hi@jacqueline.dev. I'm gonna say I'm not a robot and let me get my API key after I click on all of these fire hydrants and all of these crossroads. You know, it really doesn't like me today. Cool. Let's get my free API key. Cool. I've got my key. I'm gonna copy that into somewhere safe. Because I don't know if they're gonna make it easy for me to find that again. So let me go and open my notes real quick. And I'm gonna go pop it in my notes. Cool. So I've stored my API key. Okay. Am I a robot? Am I really a robot? I hope I'm not really a robot. So I've got my API key. I am probably therefore able to pull some GME data. So let's have a look. I'm gonna say I wanna pull it for symbol GME and I'm gonna use the API key I just created. And bazinga! Okay, this is data about GME, which means we can start building our thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this API endpoint and I'm gonna go and just leave it in a comment at the top of this. We'll come back to it in a bit. But we know now we can definitely pull the data we're going to need. So that's a great first step, okay? Amazing. The next thing we need to work out how to do is design and lay out our webpage. So Glitch provides us with this boilerplate code, but I'm not a fan of this boilerplate code because quite frankly, we don't have very long on stream today. And therefore, I'm gonna use something called Bootstrap. You might have heard of Bootstrap before. If you haven't, Bootstrap is awesome. What it is a, let's spell it right. No, I didn't. That's the Wix website, getbootstrap.com. There we go. And Bootstrap is what Twitter uses and stuff. And effectively, it is a way of very quickly laying out a website with some components. Now, we've got a question in chat, which is, will it be live? We'll be able to pull it live. Well, what we're going to be building right now is an MVP. So we're not going to try and pull it live. We're going to pull historical data. But we'll see how quickly we do that, because then we can start looking at pulling it live, you know, after we've got this historical data in. Because this is like a hackathon project, right? But we've only got 2 hours. And so we're going to try and build whatever we can get in. And so let's build the foundations. And then you know, at the end of the stream, if I haven't managed to get real time done, how about you have a try? How does that sound? And I was like, hey, I've got 5 different laptops. Why do you not just pull a stream on a laptop? Yeah, don't try and watch this on a phone. It's gonna be very, very difficult. Okay, so we're gonna go and get Bootstrap, and you do that at getbootstrap.com. And I'm gonna grab this starter template that Bootstrap provides. So let's go and throw that into here. And then what this is gonna do is it's just gonna create a very basic hello world, which isn't really what I'm after, but you know, it's something I can customize. And I'm gonna call the title Jack's Amazing, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger for you, Jack's Amazing GME Tracker. And okay, let's start laying out our webpage. Now, I know Bootstrap pretty well, so you might need to follow the docs along for this, but I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put everything in a container, I think. And the reason for that is I just don't want to worry about like things spilling over to the sides. And then I'm also gonna go and create my own CSS file. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because I want to be able to customize Bootstrap CSS. Now, the correct way of doing this is really to use, I think it's Sass for Bootstrap, I think, where it's like a proper way of doing this, but because we're just hacking something together, we're just gonna do it the quick and easy way, and it's a little bit ew, but like whatever, we'll just override the styles in the styles.css file. Cool, so we've got this empty file, and if we remember on our thing, we wanted a bar at the top. And so let's go and make that bar. I'm gonna do a div class equals top dash bar, and I'm gonna call it Jack's Amazing GME Tracker. And the nice thing about Glitch is it will autosave and update here. So what I can now do, and I appreciate the code might be a little bit small on your screen, guys. I'm really sorry for this. But we're gonna go into styles.css even. Style is one Glitch made automatically, but we don't really want. And in styles.css, we're gonna get this .top bar, and let's customize it. So first of all, we're gonna give it a nice background color. I'm personally a huge fan of purple, and so let's go and pull it. And I have a thing called SIP, which basically is a really nice little Mac app, which lets me click this and then click on this, and it will copy the hex code to my clipboard. So I can do background color is equal to this. Is that working? Is that updating? Nope, we'll investigate that in a bit. In fact, we'll investigate that now. So why is this not updating? We're pulling styles.css. We've got div classes top bar. Is that definitely the same thing? Interesting. Why is this not working? Oh, because I just put a link. I didn't import it as a style sheet, did I? I need to say, hey, what I'm importing here is a style sheet. Cool. So now, amazing. Like that is kind of ugly, but we have now got a top bar. Let's do some CSS magic right now. We're gonna say, hey, the padding is gonna be 2EM. It's gonna have a text color of EC, which is kind of gray. We'll do text align. For now, we'll just center it because we don't necessarily know what we want on it. We'll put the text weight as bold. No, is it font weight? Font weight, I think. Font weight as bold. And we will also, I wonder if there's a way of me getting this text bigger. Hang on, let me just zoom in like that. That's better for you all, isn't it? And we'll also say we want to make the font size probably like 4EM. We want it to be like pretty big. That's a bit big though, isn't it? No, it's not. That's not too big. But let's cut the padding down because obviously the padding's going to be gigantic now. 0.5 EM would probably be enough. But this is a really, really boring font. Let's go and find a different font. And a cool thing I like to use to do that is Google Fonts, fonts.google.com. And it makes it really, really easy to import fonts into your project that you're going to use. In this case, you know, I want something adequately memey, and to do that, I'm going to go on categories, and I'm going to just go and select all of the display ones, because the display ones are the ones which look awful if you use them for anything actually in content. Okay. Oh, this is when we use Hack Quarantine. I think I'm going to use, ooh, there's lots of different options here. Oh, let's go full retro. Let's use this font. And Google Fonts is really, really cool. Do you remember the Troll Ryan Swift app we made for local Hack Day build? Of course I do. I even have the Ryan Swift desktop background still as my background. Like, what do you think I am, Adam? Of course I remember this. Cool, so let's head back over. You can also hear my voice is slightly going. I just did a workshop right before this. And so like, if I sound slightly dead, it's because I've been, like, I had 3 hours sleep last night. I've been at work from 9 till 5, and then I just run a workshop. So it's one of those days, friends. And so if I'm managing to do this half asleep, you can definitely achieve all of this. Cool. So we're gonna go and import that font that we've just done from Google Fonts, which means we can now use that inside our code. We can use monotone, and it's cursive, technically, which cursive is basically the fallback for if a font can't load. That is beautiful. Let's make it a little bit smaller so it fits on one line in this preview. Now, the nice thing about Bootstrap is it is responsive, which means that this is going to kind of-ish automatically work on mobile. Obviously, the text doesn't quite scale properly because the text isn't responsive, but I would say it's pretty beautiful. Okay, so we built this. The next thing I'm going to do is add a place where we're going to do our table. So let's our graph. So we've got this amazing tracker, and underneath I'm going to do our div class equals main content. And I'm just going to like really quickly just put some placeholder in here. And what I want to do is I want to go and make this background slightly gray. Now, a really cool thing we can use is flatuicolors.com, which is basically a load of pre-made color palettes. So we don't have to worry about being creative and like coming up with our own. And this Aussie palette looks pretty good. You know, this kind of like nice, kind of bluish background. It's probably going to help it stand out. So let's go back to our stars.css. We're going to set our main content to have a background color of the one we just found on here. And we'll give it like, you know, 1 EMF padding. That's probably enough, right? Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks like it'll work. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that color though. Because, you know, design is important. We want to make this look good. You know, it's going to be the most perfect, beautiful thing ever. I don't think the blue is doing it any favors. This British palette, this kind of gray might work better. Let's try this. Let's see how this looks. Because the purple and the blue just do not go together too great. And if we have a look, okay, that is better. Okay, so you can have this. And then underneath, what we'll do is we'll have a footer at the bottom. And we'll do div class equals my footer, just for the sake of making it not called footer, because I think Bootstrap will override that. And of course, we're going to say copyright Blahage 2K21, I love sharks. Because that is, of course, the important copyright you need to get down here. When we've done that, I'm going to head back to our stars.css, and I'm going to go and do my footer, and we're going to say, hey, my footer is going to have a background color. Well, hang on. We want it to kind of be in tune. But I don't want it to be the same background color as this. I know what we can use. There's a thing called Hex Color Tool. And Hex Color Tool is really useful because it lets us basically lighten and darken a hex code that we have. So if I paste this in, and I say I want my photo to be slightly darker. So I can press darken, and then on here, this is the same color palette. So this is the kind of one we entered, but this is kind of variant. So this is like 10% darker, this is 20% darker. And it's a really, really easy way of generating a color palette to make your life easier. Adam's like, hey, this is cool. And we've got Nathan being like, hey, breaking out the big guns here with Hex Color Tool. Yeah, Hex Color Tool is great. If you're wanting to build a color palette from scratch for your app, another couple of things I can recommend is coolors.co. So COOLORS, like kind of the American way. And what this lets you do is basically using kind of design things, generate color palettes. So you can come here and you can be like, spacebar, well, I like this color, but I don't like the rest. So let's lock this. And it will generate 3 other colors. Well, this works well together and this works well together, but I don't think these are great. And then we can effectively like build ourselves a color palette through that until you're happy. Colors.adobe.com is another good one as well. Adam got in there just before me. It's color.adobe.com, isn't it? And this is similar. It uses, like, it exposes stuff to you. So it exposes whether it's a triadic color palette, whether it's a monochromatic or, you know, whichever, complementary. But it's basically, it helps you design a color palette anyway. And so, you know, when you are designing an app like we are right now, it is important to spend a little bit of time on design, on colors, making it look nice. In this case, I'm thinking 20% darker might be enough, but let's have a look. So I'm going to copy paste that into here, and I'm going to go and bloop this in. And how does that look? Does that look okay when it updates? Ooh, that's a bit dark actually. I don't like that. Let's just go make it 10% darker. That's probably gonna be fine. Let's have a look. Yeah, that'll do. It's not perfect, it's not beautiful. Let's also give it some padding. We'll give it 1 EM padding just like the other one. I want to make the font size a bit smaller though. I'm going to actually only make it 0.5 EM, although that's probably a bit small. Nah, whatever, it can be small. And we'll just double that to make sure the padding's the same because EMs are relative. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make this kind of blend in slightly. So I'm just going to use a darkened version of itself. And that way the color is kind of going to stand out. It's not going to be pure black. It's just going to be like a darkened version of a background. So it's kind of just going to be a little bit more subtle. So cool. We've got the basics of our app played out. The next thing we need to do is design this incredible table that's going to go on our page. Well, kind of. Oh, sorry, our graph. So I know that it's going to be like a header here where it's going to be like, well, this technically should be a H1 because it's the top of our web page. So let's go and fix that. That should be a H1 and it's not. And it's really important that we do get used the right ones because otherwise it can kind of cause chaos with like SEO and also with kind of accessibility. So like, do make sure you're using the right one. If this is a H1, it means it's the top of the page. It shouldn't change visually, I hope. If it does, I'm gonna cry. It did a little bit, but that's fine. And then we'll do a H2 in here. And we're gonna say, hey, viewing, don't like how it does this, viewing stock data for $GME. And we'll go and like make that look nicer in a second. So we've got our kind of headers. We've got our basic website layout. But what we're missing now is a really crucial piece. We know where we're gonna pull our data from. We have this endpoint saved up here. But we need to work out how to display it. And I think we want to display it on some kind of graph to show how things have changed in GME land. But I do have a slight challenge of like, hey, building a graph from scratch in HTML, CSS is going to be such a pain. So let's go and investigate. Let's go on Google and let's have a look at a JavaScript graph library. And let's see what there is. You know, there might be a great one, there might be terrible. Let's have a look at chart.js, for example. So this is pretty cool. And how does this work? If I look at my samples, can I just give it some JSON and can I generate a graph? In this case, it's going to be a line graph. Well, this is pretty cool. Let's randomize the data. So it looks like it's very responsive. So if we did have it real time, this would kind of flow naturally. Now I can add and remove data sets. So I can show multiple data sets at once. So I think this chart.js could be exactly what we need. But let's have a look at the documentation and see how it actually works. So I want to create a chart and let's do a line chart because that's what we're doing here. And so this takes a new chart, data, options, and a type of line. Wonderful. Now, what does this data need to look like is what I need to find out. Where is the data on this? Because we've got all of these options. We can really customize it to look how we want, but we've got to work out where we're like, we want to pull data from an API. No big deal. We can pull data from an API, but where is this data set? Let's have a look. Is there a usage? Like, what does this data look like? Oh, okay. So this data can look just like a list, which is great, but I don't really think is what we're trying to do here. Because I think we want multiple different kind of data sets, right? Well, let's have a Google. Let's Google chart.js data, and let's just see how they recommend doing it. Okay, so they've got different data structures, and okay, it can take labels and it can take data, or it can take an object. Okay, amazing. So we can, instead of doing like annoying things, we can be like, hey, there's an X and a Y. Well, that might work. We can pass in data and 2 labels, but what I want is really just pass in multiple data sets. Because this is good. This is good. I can pass in custom info, but how do I do multiple data sets? Well, let's have a look. Mixed. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So I can set data to be an object called data sets and literally just store multiple in here. So what I'm thinking is the way this is going to work is we're going to import chart.js. We're going to get a very basic, like just graph on our page. And then we're going to do an API call. And that API call is going to pull this data, and it's going to go and store it. And then after it's done that, we'll then display this on the page. Cool. Well, before we do all of that, let's go and look at the installation of how this works. We want to do this in our browser. So how do we use it in our browser? Well, we can probably just use cdn.js. Yes. So let's go and copy this script tag. And we're going to include this script inside our web page. And my mouse is not working. I love my life right now. Why is my mouse only going sideways? I do not understand, friends. I do not understand. Oh, there is a hair in my mouse. That is impressive. How did you get in there? Wow, okay. Fixed? Nope, not fixed. I have lost there we go. I'd lost control of my mouse for a second. It's not fun. I'm saying, hey, I understand APIs more than the start of local hat day build now. And that is really good. And if anyone is kind of a bit unfamiliar with APIs, in short, an API is nothing fancy. It's just a way of pulling data from a service and including it in your own service. So let's go and import this style tag. So we're now including chart.js. I know you can't see it yet, but it's included in our page. And let's go and take a look at, where is it? Chart.js. So let's get a very basic chart on. Do I need any CSS actually? Chart.js, yes, I need to grab the chart.js CSS as well. Let's grab this link tag and let's throw this in. And I'll put it above our styles just in case we need to override it, but I don't think we will. I have a perfect definition API right there. Well, I think you're very, very kind for saying that, Adam. I tried to have a decent definition. Cool, so we now need to go and display this table. Let's have a look at the documentation, because if we're building something, you really should look at the documentation to see how they're doing things. So they want us to make a script where we declare a new chart. Okay. This needs a lot of reading, and I don't really feel like reading all of that. Let's look at one instead. Here we go. So let's try and render this chart on our page. So we're gonna go and inside our main content, we're gonna include the canvas because that's what's gonna render the chart. And let's get rid of these. Because then I want to move this script to actually be below all the content. It's in an ugly place there. We don't want that there. We want that here. So that this script is basically going to run after we have imported all our stuff. And there we go, right? Already, that did not take long. We've already, on our webpage, managed to get a chart to appear without really too many difficulties, which is pretty awesome, right? We've already managed to do it so fast. Yeah. And that's why just kind of pulling documentation and stuff is useful. Like it's not perfect, but we are already displaying info. And so now we've managed to get this sample, we can adapt our sample to be what we need. And Nathan's like, ew, gross, reading documentation for a hackathon project? I know, Nathan, I know. Okay, can anyone tell me what the problem with this graph? Ignore the fact it's the entirely wrong data. What is the issue with what we currently have? You know, why is this not going to be useful to us? And why is it not going to look great as well? So I can think of a couple of things that are wrong here. I think first of all, you know, it's a bar graph. Well, we wanted a line graph. So let's find out, can we just change this to line? Does that just work? Well, yes. Yes, it does. That's pretty great. And it looks like these will just say green and these will say purple. Now, obviously, this isn't how this data is supposed to be displayed, but we've already got a bar graph appearing. So there we go. And, you know, well, I'm going to have to work out how to do multiple data sets. But another thing is, it's way too big. I don't want this to be so big. Is there a way we can cap the heights? Let's have a look. Responsiveness, interesting. Oh, so it uses the canvas height, interesting. And so if I scroll up to my canvas, it's got a width and a height. I'm going to yeet this. And instead of it being called my chart, I'm going to just call it stock tracker. And I'm going to go and make sure this is updating stock tracker. And I'm just like, use a div and just limit the height. I mean, that's basically what I'm about to do. So I'm going to say, hey, in styles.css for hashtag stock tracker. So the thing with the ID of stock tracker, I want it to have a height of, ooh, what should we set the height to? Let's say 16 EM. How will that look? That works. And I'm also going to set the max height. Oh no, we'll set, How do I want to do this? Actually, I'm going to set the max height to 16 EM, but I'm going to set the height to be 50 VH. So basically what this is going to do is, why is it doing that? I don't like, okay, never mind. What I was going to do is I was going to make it basically by default be half the size of your screen. But actually I've just realized this is a canvas and basically it would cap out at 16 high, but it would try to be half the size of your screen. But the way Canvas works is that we'll literally scale the contents of the canvas, which is what chart.js is using. And so we don't really have that option. I introduced you to VH and you love that so much. What is VH, Adam? I can't quite remember. So cool, we've got this here. And we now want to go and pull some real data. View height in CSS. Yeah, VH is amazing. Okay, so I'm tired. Cut me a break. Okay. So we've got this data. We are showing it on a page. Well, I don't necessarily want it filled. That's the thing. Let's have a look at these docs. How can we make it less filled? So line graph and data options. Well, if I command F for fill, does anything come up? Oh, it does. Interesting. Background color. Is the line fill background color? Well, am I setting background color in my index.js? Let's have a look. I am. I see. Okay. So setting this. Oh, cool. Okay. Which I'm not quite sure why this is filled. I don't want it filled, but I guess that's kinda okay. We'll revisit this. Let's word it this way. Now, what I'm gonna now do is, before we jump into actually pulling data from our API, what I really wanna do is work out how to use data sets. Now, I do remember we Googled it, but I've lost the documentation. So let's just do chart.js, multiple data sets, and just check how they did it. Because then we're gonna mangle what we've got, and then what we'll then do is we'll go and call our API, and then that API is gonna be able to we'll use that data. But before we do that, before we introduce like more chances for things to fail, instead, we'll go and like make sure what we've got is working right now. Well, this is interesting. We've got a bar data set and a line data set. Interesting, so we can have a bar and a line at once. It's not really what we want to do right now, but it's interesting that that is an option. And obviously it doesn't look like it's working quite yet in the way I implemented it, but we have that as an option, so good to know. Let's have a look. I want to multiple data sets on a line graph. Oh, interesting. So I can actually say, hey, I can like give them each different labels, I can different data, and I can set the order. You feel like there's not been many meme moments yet. The meme moments are coming, Adam. I'm tired. Like, don't worry. The meme moments are on the way. You know, don't make Blahaj sad. Okay? We've got to get the thing working. And when it's working, we can meme it up, Adam. Like, come on. Cut me some break. Cut me a break. I'm tired. It's one of those days. Okay, so we're going to go and get our, like, multiple line chart. We're going to check Stack Overflow. Because Stack Overflow is incredible. And we love Stack Overflow and it makes our life easier. Jesus, this is horrible. It's jQuery. Never mind. Let's ignore that answer. Ooh. Okay, yeah, we're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore Stack Overflow today. Let's have a look at the chart.js samples and see if they have an example of how they did it. I want a line, like, I like line graphs. Can I view the source of this? I'm on Safari. No, I can't. See, if you're ever writing an app, I would really recommend, if you're doing like sample code, to actually show the code it generates. Because this is really annoying. Like, I'm literally just like, the perfect use case is I want to get this and display it on my page. If I open it in Chrome, can I inspect it and see how they're doing there? I actually hate this. This is the most infuriating thing ever. Okay, here we go. Please, if you're ever building an app, make sure you're showing it. I'm using Safari so you don't get my internet history, that's why. But I dislike this. Yeah, if you're ever building a thing where you're like actually showing users how to do something, you really should show your users how to do something. But let's have a look at this. This is the code pen. Ew. I mean, this is nice, but like, why is there a gap? You know what? Let's try incorporating this into ours. Because you know what? This is actually useful data. And the nice thing is they've stored it in a separate variable. And so we can incorporate this into things. Like personally, when I build my own variables, you know, sometimes variables need some space. And so we're going to give this variable some space. So we've got this data, and then this data is going to be data is equal to data. There we go. Okay, so in theory, that's going to work. And it did work. This is brilliant. Okay, you know, so we've pulled something in. We've got two separate graphs. We've got technically stock A and stock B. I don't like the design, but quite frankly, that's okay. Now, what I'm curious is, will this work? If I go and like yeet this and I go and just duplicate this, is this going to be able to copy over? How is this formatted actually? How is this? Interesting. Oh, okay, yeah, it's not data, it's data sets. Got it. Just trying to work out like why this duplicates fine. It's like this shouldn't work, but it does, and that's fine. So the reason I want multiple data set, the ability to show multiple different pieces of data, is that, you know, we might want to show the start price and the end price for every day or something, you know? So right now, if I change this data to just be entirely random stuff, what if I just remove, you know, one of the letters every time? Cool, or one of the numbers even. Cool, well this is what we want to see. An empty one does work. And, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Okay, so we can now do this. And we know we can, which is awesome. And, you know, ultimately, you know, cool. So this will track properly. And then if I make this just not 38, 78, and I just make it 40 and 68, hopefully, yeah, we get this beautiful overlap. So right now, they are the same color, and that's not going to work for our real one. But hey, we now know we can get a graph to display. Amazing. Well, we've done that, but what do we need to do next? Can anyone think what is missing? You know, we've managed to get a graph to display. We've managed to get this working. What is missing? Well, apart from the memes, which Adam is calling me out of, and they are on the way, Adam, because I know you're going to do that in chat in a second. But instead, what we need to focus on is really getting our data. The memes are also missing, that is true. Which memes do you want? Has anyone got some incredible memes that we could include on the page? Because I'm happy to include memes, because ultimately this is going to need to be able to load, and we could display memes when it's loading. How do we feel about that? A description of what is GME, yes, we could totally display that. But before we do that, in fact, yeah, let's get a, before we get this pulling live data, let's get a description pulled, because that is a very easy way of like getting started in pulling APIs. And so I think there was an API that lets us pull company overview. Let's have a look. So if I go and combine my API key and like plop it in, let's see if this works. I'm gonna do, okay, so we got this thing. We're gonna do for symbol GME and using my API key, which really you shouldn't expose on stream, but like whatever, it's like a temporary API key. If you're ever doing this for real, what you really should do is store an environment variable, just saying. Okay, and yeah, this lets us get all of this metadata. Stonks. GME is indeed stonks. Okay, so this is working. The next thing we gotta do, we've got this data, we've gotta show it. Okay, well, let's display the description of GME under here. But we don't want to just copy paste it. We want to pull it dynamically in case one day GME decides to pivot to become a pony farm. And so the way we're going to do that is by pulling it from an API. So let's see, pull, so JavaScript, get text from JSON API. And let's see what they suggest. Well, we could use JSON.parse. Okay. How does this work? So, ew. Is there really no way of doing this better? Because that's ugly. And I don't want to use jQuery. What could we use? Well, I think there's JavaScript fetch. Let's have a look. Fetch API I think is less horrible, but I think it's also async, and I don't really want to deal with async right now. But if that's what we're going to have to do, that is what we're going to have to do. Cool. So this lets us get the contents of JSON. JavaScript fetch JSON cause, because I want it to be able to pull from a different one. How do we fetch JSON from URL? Let's have a look. Fetch is async. Yeah, I'm happy to build async, but on stream it's like super stressful. It's like, oh, it's all gonna break, and I've just got to deal with that. I'm just like, I hate how everything on Stack Overflow is like, oh yeah, this is just jQuery. Why not use jQuery? And I'm like, but I don't want to use jQuery because I like myself. But oh well, that's a side note. Is there an equivalent to document.ready in vanilla JavaScript? Let's have a look. Document.ready vanilla JavaScript. I'm sure there is. What is it? Because we basically, when the page is loaded, here we go. When everything is loaded, we want to start including things. So let's lay this out. Could you get a mini description of cause? Of course you can. So cause is short for cross-origin something security question mark. And basically cause is a way of keeping things secure. So imagine you've got an API and you don't want people on different websites to be able to pull data. And the reason for this might be your bank has an API which shows all of your transactions. And you're logged into your account, you're authenticated, and so your browser can do like requests to your bank's API, which is great when you're on a bank site because, you know, you want to be able to get all the data about your accounts and view all of that fun stuff. But then what if another website pulls that info and they pull all of your bank info and you're going to be having a bad day, right? And so cause basically is what blocks that, and it effectively, if an API is secured by cause, only like requests from the same domain, so if it's like a Google like API, only requests from google.com, will actually be able to pull data from said API. And that's how it works. It's a way of basically securing everything without like, you really should be using some like API keys and all of that on top of that, but it's kind of like the base level way of like preventing users' browsers getting hijacked. It doesn't make your API itself secure, but it stops malicious like actors using people's like sessions to like, call APIs as them from other websites. So that's a TLDR. There was once an exploit on Twitter which let you do like requests with cause. That was really bad, but you know, things happen and it's a thing. So what I want to do is probably extract this all out. I'm going to leave this script here for now, but I am going to add a new script. I'm just going to say it's going to be called script.js. So script src equals /script.js. And what script.js is going to do is oh no, that's the jQuery way. We don't want to do a jQuery way. That's ugly. We want to do, wait. Yeah, I don't want to use that. I want to use, where is the equivalent? Here we go. Yes, I'm gonna use this one. So when everything is fully loaded, so when we know all of our like divs are on the page, I want to do, just to check this is working, alert test. So let's see what happens. Is this gonna get called? If it doesn't, I will cry. Wonderful. I love my life. Why is that not working? What happens if I put script.js towards the bottom? Wonderful. Okay, well, let's investigate what's going on here. So let's comment this out. And, you know, sometimes code just hates you, right? Code just hates me today. Like, it's like sometimes, you know, when you're on TikTok and, you know, just the algorithm isn't your friend. Well, sometimes it's not just TikTok who doesn't like you. Sometimes it's every single part of life, including code. And so let's just try doing alert test when this is called. Okay, that gets called. Wonderful. Well, in that case, it's an issue not with the alert, but with the thing that checks if the web page is loaded. And it seems a bit balked. But hang on. Let's take a step back. Are you sure glitch runs alerts? Yeah, that's what I checked. And are you TikTok? Excuse me, TikTok is wonderful. Okay, so I think we can actually take a step back because if we go top to bottom, by the time this script is called, we can safely assume that the user has loaded the HTML because it's underneath which means actually what we can do is, let's test something. Let's go and create a, let's call it, put it in here actually. And it's just going to be a paragraph. And it's going to be an empty paragraph. There's going to be absolutely nothing in paragraphs, because if you're like me and you go to school and you just don't really feel like writing things, you end up with this. So we're going to do paragraph ID of company description. Okay, so we've written our description of the company, and well, there's nothing there yet, right? So I'm just going to put loading here, right? Because, we need to pull the data. Well, then what I'm going to do is have a go of set contents of HTML with JavaScript. Let's have a look. How do we do that? Well, we can use the DOM, which is like basically how JavaScript writes things, and we can get our element and set the contents of the element. So let's do, and yeah, you're definitely not getting like a really meme heavy stream today, guys. I'm sorry. It's one of those nights. I'm just like there. So I'm gonna get my element ID, and it's gonna be company description, and this is gonna be new text. Amazing. So now you see loading got replaced by new text. That's pretty amazing. And Adam's saying, hey, wait, is there, hang on. As much as you hate TikTok, is there a Blahaj TikTok 1? You're not allowed to hate TikTok. And 2, if there isn't, you should make one. But Nathan has already said that. And also, what is GME? GME is the GameStop stonk. It's the best stock on the planet. There's stonks and there's shonks. And Blahaj is a shonk. But GameStop is a stonk. And TLDR is it is a way of trading things, if you've never used stocks before, and trying to make money or losing money. It can be both. But TLDR is GME is our absolutely favorite company in the world, mainly because it sells overpriced video games that are generally fairly mediocre in about 2 aisles, and the other 5 aisles is nothing but terrible plastic collectibles. So yeah, basically GME is perfect and we love it. And then like PKK is just like, hey, actually we're just gonna go to the moon for Power of Doge. Personally, I am all for this. I would love to go to the moon. Why not? Moons are fun. And like if GME is going to the moon, we can all go to the moon too. Cool. So we need to go and work out how to pull this data, because we know we have a way of getting the data, like the basic data. And that is through an API endpoint I have closed because I am dumb. But like we know there is a place, here we go, there's this API endpoint, which I'm gonna go and throw in as a comment. But actually first go and grab the API key and a symbol. Wonderful. God, copy pasting is hard, everybody. Okay, so we're gonna go into styles, we're gonna throw this at the top. And we want to call this, and we're going to use fetch. Now, I'll be entirely honest, it's been a while since I used like fetch and stuff. I normally use like Axios and a wrapper, but I'm not sure if you can do that in vanilla JavaScript or if it needs to be on like React or something. So we're going to have you go at fetch JavaScript and see what happens. It might work, it might end terribly, but like whatever, we'll see what goes. So, we're going to do fetch, then .then. Okay, so let's have a look at this tutorial. We want to, okay, so fetch this. And then, well, hang on, is there an example of how to do it with JSON? Perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fetch the contents of GME. And then we're gonna go and get the response and convert it to like, say, hey, this response is JSON. I need this in an object. And then once we've done it, I want to do .then, and then with our data, I want to, oh, why is this happening? Don't like the look of this. This is ugly. Ew, whatever, that can go yeet. That's probably okay. There, maybe. That's probably fine, it will be okay. My API key has a double S on symbol. Oh, it will break it. Thank you so much for catching that. Yes, I love that. Apparently, Adam's very, very good at fetch now. I am very much not good at fetch, as you can probably tell. So I'm going to just try doing console.log data and see what happens. Does the console? I actually don't know how this works on Glitch. I don't know if it has the thing that intercepts it. Let's have a look. No, it doesn't. Cool. That's just our web service. So if I open my, hang on, I'm on hang on. Safari Developer Tools. How do I open developer tools on Safari? Step 1 is enable a developer menu. To go to Safari. Apparently I've not told Safari I am a world famous web developer. That's why. That's system preferences. There we go. And I want to do show develop menu. There we go. That's better. And then develop. Ooh. Inspect element. There we go, friends. I just fixed my problems in life. So what we want to see. Step 1 is open Google Chrome. I know. I wanted to do a challenge and just have a go at Safari. Where's our console? There's our console. Cool. So I've got this. What happens if I refresh? Amazing. We can see here. Well, you probably can't because it's going to be tiny for you all, but like, if I zoom in, we can see here, we can grab all of this metadata, and one of those things is the description. Okay, so let's have a go. Instead of console.logging, let's leave a console.log, but let's set the company description to, well, it's the description, so data.description. That's not going to work, is it? Oh, it is. Cool. Amazing. So there we go. We have now included an essay about GameStop. And this is being pulled in real time, right? We've pulled it. Now, I think this is a bit big, so let's go and add some styles for like the, for a company description. Let's say company description is going to have a font size of like 0.8 EM. Let's make it a bit smaller. Let's also like throw it into its own little bubble. So let's say it's got a border of 1px solid of EC. Actually no, let's do 4A. And then let's say it's got a background color of EC, and it's gonna have padding of 1EM. Cool. So we are getting API rate limited. You'll see it's undefined. So we probably need to add a bit of error checking here. But then we can like include it in a nice box and basically kind of segregate it and keep it out the way. But we need to address this API rate limiting. Let's have a look. Hey, thank you for using. If you want to use a higher one, you'll need to upgrade. That's fine. Because we do need to like make sure we are including kind of some kind of guardrails against that. So if it does fail, it fails. So let's do that now. How are we going to do that? Let's go into script.js and say, hey, if, I don't know if this will work or not, but let's say if data.description isn't equal to undefined. I have no idea if that'll work. Let's have a look. Isn't undefined JavaScript. I presume that would work. Type of isn't undefined. That's how we should do it. Okay, cool. So if type of, oh, this is in Python, we've got to actually put the brackets in, don't we? If type of, and then we want to be data.description isn't undefined, then if it's not undefined, what we'll do is we'll go and just show obviously it. If it is undefined, then we'll just say document.get element by ID, company description, and we'll say, hey, we'll say the inner HTML is equal to the API is currently yeeting me. And this makes me very sad. Crying emoji. Cool. And I could have done a try and catch block. Yeah, that would probably have made more sense because I don't think what I'm doing is actually working. This isn't working. An unexpected token on line 7. What did I do wrong? Oh, I thought I had that right. I am so, what actually is wrong? I thought that is right. API, yeah, the API call is gonna get wrecked, but like we need to like account for that, right? And so that's what we're trying to build in here. But I'm trying to work out why that's not working. Nathan, you're saying try a catch, they do a try catch block, and I'm like, I don't disagree, but how would you lay that out here? Because that works now, there we go. The API is currently yeeting me and it makes me very sad. Wonderful, so we're pulling this data, and before we go and display all of this important data on our graph, let's go and like show us some important info underneath. So let's go and have a look at what Bootstrap has to make our life easy. Well, actually, let's not even look, because I know. Let's go and say, underneath our chart, which we've still not done, we are coming back to the chart. I haven't forgotten about the chart, don't worry. What I'm going to do is say, we're going to do a div class equals row. I'm going to do 4 columns in here. If you're on a small screen, we're going to be 2-eyed. And then it's going to be like, so it's going to be 2 by 2. And then it's going to be like 4 on like a single row if you're on a big enough screen. So we're going to say div class equals, I need a class name, I've done too much React, equals col 12, and then col md. I really hope this is right. I'm doing this entirely based on memory. How's that looking? Is that appearing? And if I then duplicate this, how is this looking? Wonderful. Okay, cool. And it's interesting because I thought, let's do col SM actually, because these are going to be fairly small cars displaying info. And because of Bootstrap and the way it works is we actually, even though it will be 2 rows on our smaller screens, we can actually just say actually, like, nah mate, we'll display it all on one. But interesting. This has been counted as extra small. Wonder what's going on here. Why is that not displaying them all together? Well, I think Bootstrap might have changed its syntax. So let's have a look. Let's go and look at layout and grid. And let's just see what they say to do. So we've got col SM. I don't want to do so. I want to do col 5 and then col... They have changed it. I think I might have to explicitly declare col like XS12 and then like override it. That's how it used to work, but I thought they changed it. But like maybe the newer version changed it back. That's really weird. Nathan, you've probably used it recently. Like when you've used it recently, or any of you, when you've used Bootstrap recently, how do you handle this? This is so weird. Because I honestly just kind of live on, in fact, screw it. What we'll do is we'll just go and use auto-responsive ones because I don't really feel like dealing with this. But like, yeah, it's the build we use at work. It's you just do like col 6 and then like you override it with like bigger ones. But like, evidently that's not how it works all the time anymore. That's fun. I love it when things change. Bootstrap's pretty awesome. Why is this behaving this way? I'm so confused. It shouldn't, they should be displaying on one line. Like, this is bizarre. Like, if I look at this, like it's literally col 6. Why? What is going on here? Let me just try opening this in Chrome real quick. Because I'm really curious about what is going on here and why it's going on here. Because I don't like the fact it's misbehaving. Because it means I'm a little bit worried about it. Let's have a look. If I open it in Chrome, it also misbehaves. Interesting. So let's investigate. What is the problem with this? Well, this is what I'm trying to do. So let's steal their code. Let's see if their code works. It's like I want to have like, you know, on medium screens. Am I doing this backwards? I have my logic backwards. Oh, I'm being so dumb. No, I'm not being so dumb. Am I being so dumb? I'm being dumb. Oh my god. Okay, so we want to do col 6 and col XS 4A12, 36912. Yeah, cool. That's what we want to do, isn't it? Because I'm doing it entirely backwards. You want to have it like, yeah, that's what we want to do. Okay, so what I want to do is on small screens, have it on 2 on a row and then 3 on a... Wait, what? Really? Really? Am I doing it wrong again? I'm doing it wrong again, friends. I'm doing it wrong again. You can tell I'm on very little sleep. Because I want to do it on small. I want to make it 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. So if my screen is smaller or higher, so smaller or higher, I want it to be 3 wide. But if it's on like a phone screen, I want it to be 6 wide. Amazing! We finally got there. Yeah, that is correct. So just to people who are kind of asking, because yes, this is totally right. This is my brain just blipping. What you want to do is you want to have like your like rows add up to 12. And so now it doesn't actually need to be 12. It needs to be a multiple of 12, which is how we can do this kind of hack where it's like, okay, small screens, I want to be 12 wide, but actually we can just scale it down and like make it 2 rows effectively on smaller ones. But yeah, you want to like, it doesn't need to be max of 12. It needs to be a max of a multiple of 12. But yes. Can you tell the story of why I was only 3 hours of sleep? Of course I can tell you the story of why I've only had 3 hours of sleep. TLDR is I was chilling with some friends last night, and I do what I normally do when I'm chilling with friends, and that is forget I exist and I have to go to work and talk for way too long to them. And so I just chatted and I chatted and I chatted and it got to 6 a.m. and I was like, well, my life is over. And therefore my life was over and it was very sad. But it's all okay because we're all in this together. Right, let's go and look at my console. What data can we display? No. It sounds like you're chilling with you and Steven on Saturday night. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so all of this data, what should be useful? What do you think we should display? It's all up to you. I'm thinking, let's display like total employees, I guess. Yeah, let's like display the employee count. So let me think, how are we gonna do this? Well, I want to do a div, and I want to call it like a info card. In fact, no, let's call it a blahage card. Blahage is a better word than info, so we'll call it a blahage card. And we're going to say it's going to have a heading of total employees. And that's going to be probably not a block item, but that's fine. Then we'll do a div inside, and we'll just go and put some numbers in there. So let me just see how this looks in our blahage block. So total employees, and it's going to say loading underneath. Amazing. And so let's go and format our blahage card, because blahage cards are beautiful. They are the future. We love blahage. We do love blahage, don't we, Adam? You understand. You understand the importance of blahage. You should get some sleep though. And I'm going to do a dot blahage card. It's going to have a padding of 1em. It's going to have a background color of EC, and it's going to be text align center. Cool. This is looking pretty good so far. Actually, that looks boring. That looks boring. And what I do want to do though is make sure actually our stock tracker has a margin bottom of 2em, so there's a nice gap. You know, I want a bit of gap. I need a bit of space between like my graph and the rest of my life. That was basically me when I was at school because I just couldn't deal with maths. And I'm going to do a border of 1px solid 4A, whatever. Actually, no, that's ugly. Let's do something better. Let's go on flat UI colors, and let's go and grab a nice, beautiful color for this. Let's use, blahage is blue. Let's use a blue. And of course I'm in Canada, let's grab a blue from the Canadian palette. We're gonna grab this cyanide blue, because what is more beautiful than some cyanide? We're gonna grab this, and we're gonna set the color to be EC instead. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna grab this color, and we're gonna go on hex color tools, and we're gonna grab a beautiful, beautiful border color. We're gonna darken it a bit. We'll go 20% darker, and that can be our border. And now we have just invented design. Isn't it beautiful? Not really, but that's fine. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say our blahage card, the strong inside of it, I'm gonna say is gonna have a font size of 2em. Is that gonna be too much? Maybe, possibly. Yeah, a bit much. We'll set it to 1.5em. And then we'll set the blahage card, the div inside of it. So basically the thing where our number which we're dynamically setting. I'm gonna set that to have a font size of 2em, because it'll be a bit bigger. Cool. So you see here, this is gonna render. So now we need to go and show that data. Can you tell the website I just used for color? Yes, it is. So the two I just used, I'll pop the links in Twitch chat for you. Flat UI colors is where I go and get the color palettes from. And then when I want to like manipulate the kind of colors, it's hexcolortool.com, which I'm linking to you right now. Yeah, they're useful. They're really useful, and I really recommend you try them. So we've got our total employees. We've got, you know, let's try filling that one before we go crazy. So we're going to do div ID equals, let's say employee count. And we'll go and set in script.js. Well, we know how this works. But, this is going to get... Oh, but it's actually fine, because it's like we can guarantee all of these fields are filled because of how the API works. And as if description is undefined, it'll all be undefined, so that's cool. That's good. And we want to get total employees. It's going to be full-time employees, I think. That's fine. So let's do... So I want to... What's this called? It was called total employees, I think. Oh no, it was employee count, wasn't it? Let's get employee count. .html, and I want to get data.full-time employees. And hopefully that's going to go and populate that. I'm really, really, really hopeful. Yeah, blahashgang.lol is another incredible website I recommend checking out. Why is that not working? Meh. Okay, it's because I've hit the rate limit. That's fine. Let's give it a second. And there we go. We have the employee count rendered. So let's go and pull all the other metadata. And then once we've done that, we are ready to move on to the most important part, which is, of course, showing stock data in real time. It's going to be interesting. Cool. So we've got total employees. The other info that it's worth pulling from this is, where is one where I actually pulled? There we go. Ah, why do you do this to me? What do you mean? What do you, oh, it doesn't, of course it doesn't exist. Let's refresh. I forgot you can only, when you're using Safari, only view ones which still exist. It's really, really annoying. You don't, I don't know, agree with the favicon? The favicon is pretty great. The favicon is pretty great. I like the stonk too. Oh my god. Hello, Kevin. How's your life doing? Welcome to the technical difficulty stream, where nothing's entirely working properly and Jack's on 4 hours sleep. I have no idea if you're Kevin from The Gambling, but if you are Kevin from The Gambling, can we all have a hello Kevin in chat? Who's Kevin? Kevin is our Lord and Savior. We love Kevin. Let's go and view it next to the code. That's pulling. Amazing. We can go and have a look at this. You are Kevin from The Gambling. Oh my god, Kevin from The Gambling. Blahage. I hope your Blahage is doing well. Kevin from The Gambling is our favorite. Kevin from The Gambling is the person who, back before he went and became in charge of The Gambling, was the person who dealt with all of your boxes. And so if you've ever sent a passive-aggressive email to shipping questions at MLH before Kevin vamooshed into the distance, then, you know, it was probably Kevin who looked at it and then slowly cried inside when he found your package was stuck at customs for 4 years. So, yeah, can we all have a hello to Kevin? Because Kevin is a wonderful human being and we love him. And while we're doing that, let's go and see what other data I can show here. Let's go and show the fiscal year end, because that's useful. You know, because that's important metadata that we always need to know and show on a box. You might have noticed I know very little about stonks. Yeah, and we'll give it a year and date. And we're going to go and say, hey, we're going to say, this is difficult. And we're going to say, hey, get it by ID. And our year and date is equal to data dot fiscal year end. I really can't spell today, friends. I really can't spell. Cool, it's gonna be equal to fiscal year ends. But yes, stonks. Stonks is amazing. I've experienced so many Blahage memes on this stream. Like, if you think this has Blahage memes, this barely has any Blahage memes. So we're saving them. Because you gotta get the best Blahage memes when I'm not tired. And, like, trust me when I say, local hack day share is gonna have all the best Blahage memes. Like, may I just introduce you to blahagegang.lol? Perhaps the best website on the internet. If you've not already checked it out, do check it out because it has important buttons such as buy a Blahage and quotes from Barack Obama. And so do check out blahagegang.lol. It's going to be incredible during local hack day share. But enough of that. Let's get back to building this beautiful thing. Got our year end, got total employees. What else can we show? Let's have a look. Operating margin TTM. I have no idea what that is, but that sounds important if I was running a business. So let's have a look. You know, it's almost as important as the amount of money that Ryan Swift is going to have to spend shipping you all Blahage stickers because he was stupid to promise them for when Blahage Gang will definitely win. Cool. So we're going to grab, actually, let's show gross profit. Profit's a number. Gross profits. And, ooh, this is going to have to be clever. So we're going to have to go and make sure there's a dollar sign there, because otherwise I will forget this is money and I will presume they're just paying in sharks. So it's going to be, we're going to get, not by year end, we want to get, I've already forgotten what it was, gross dash profit, because profit is kind of gross, right? And it's going to be data dot gross profit TTM, but actually what we want to do is throw a dollar sign in there. So we're going to do quotes, dollar, add, cool. Yeet. I mean, I would love to ship you a Blahage. I would love to ship you a Blahage at him, but sadly that would be like way too nice for me to do. And quite frankly, I've already spent so much money on Blahage recently and I just don't have enough. Kevin from the gambling, you're saying hello world, but excuse me, what about Blahaj? We've said hello to the world, but what about, he's just hanging out there. He didn't get a hello. What did he do wrong, Kevin? What money I spent on Blahaj recently? Well, Adam, I don't know if you've seen these, but we have some special things for Airshare for the Blahaj gang members. You're not all getting one of these, but let's just say, you know, there is, of course, the incredible Jack and Blahaj stickers. There's also the Blahaj stickers that are bigger. And there is also the holographic Blahaj stickers, which are incredible. But there's also potentially an order in for 50 Blahaj pins, which I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I do have an order in. Let's just say that much. Cool, let's keep building. We're going to probably want to show... Which of these look important? EPS sounds important. I don't know what it is, but it sounds important. So let's show that. Let's do EPS, and we'll set ID to EPS. And the rest of these are working, right? Blech. No, okay, that's fine. We'll fix that. And we'll do EPS is equal to EPS. And like, bear in mind, the reason we're doing this in stream, everyone, is that, you know, we hadn't tried any of these tools before. When I said I'd never used this API before, I wasn't kidding. I have never, ever used this API. Like, I've obviously used Bootstrap before, and I've used, like, most of the tooling, but I've not used Chart.js. I've not used the API, and you can learn this all super, super quick. You'll be surprised. So let's look at the gross profit. EFG. Okay, let me just copy paste this in. There's a reason this isn't working, and I'm trying to work out what it is. But we're going to give the API just a second to recharge, you know, because it's currently eating and it needs a bit of time. And then if these are displaying, we'll have 35 whole minutes before I have to Vamoosh to try and get this displaying data, this table, which we might manage because we now know how to do it, but we might fail miserably at as well. We'll just see what happens. You know, we're going to try and pull some data. We're going to try and show it on the table. There's no guarantees, and that's okay. Okay, well, these are both still not working. So let's have a look. Why is this not working? Let's check gross profit. EPS and gross... Oh, I called it gross email. What am I doing? Gross profit. Cool, that's there, and that's there. Now, they make so much profit, it does kind of fall out sometimes. But to be honest, I'm okay with making so much profit it sometimes falls out. Like, they deserve that. That is important. Okay, so there we go. We're pulling data and it's working. So now finally, we want to go and show some data on a chart. So let's first of all pull this other API. So we're going to do this. And I have no idea how this is going to work, but that's fine. So we're going to do fetch contents of this. And when we have got them, I want to convert it into JSON, or say, hey, this is JSON. I want to turn this into something usable, because right now this is all like really not useful at all. And then I want to use run a function. So much typing. Okay, so first of all, I just want to console.log data. But I want to make sure it's really obvious it's this data. So I'm going to do like a... Actually, I'm going to do console.table data. That might make it easier to see. Let's have a look. Have we been rate limited? We absolutely have been rate limited. Incredible. Incredible. Undefined is not a function. Ooh. Ooh. On line 17? Like, what? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong, everybody? I broke it. I feel like I'm a failure. I caused it all to die. Don't want it to die. I probably made a typo. I don't know if I made a typo. Why is it not working? What do you mean undefined is not a function? You're supposed to work for me. An orange name on Discord, it even is a very fancy orange name on Discord. Is that what we're calling them? We're calling them orange names, not mentors now. Wow, that is so mature. Oh, I did dot fetch. That's me being dumb. Okay. Amazing. So here is all of his metadata. So you got, this isn't doing what I wanted it to do. Okay, that's fine. Console.table felt like a nice idea, but it's kind of balked. So let's just do console.log for now, and then we'll do a table in a second. Orange is beautiful. I agree. Okay, metadata object time series. Okay, so I want to. What I really want to do is I want to get data time series daily. That is horrible. The fact it's called. Why is it called that? That is like disgusting. But okay. Okay, there is nothing I can do about that. That is actually horrible. The fact they have it like. Do we really have it with space? Oh, we do. That is horrendous. If you're ever building an API, you really shouldn't use spaces in your API name. It just makes it really difficult for people trying to develop stuff. We don't have to wait. That's the thing. We've got to now wait because the API is like unhappy with us. I've insulted the API. Now it's going to be like, I'm just not going to work for a bit. Steven said you should apply to be an orange name, but you said I should apply to be red. You can be applied to whatever you want, Adam. You know, I've got a fancy red and blue name. You know, Nathan has a fancy orange name. You have a fancy green question mark name. Like, name colors don't mean anything. You can have whatever you want. You know, it's just, there's no harm in that. You know, may as well. Okay, let's refresh and see if this is now working. Yes. Okay, amazing. So, what we now have, I really, really dislike this API, but whatever. We're now being able to pull all of this data, and this looks like something which we're going to be able to display on a chart pretty easily, I think. I'm just curious, what happens if I make console.table list? Is it smart enough to automatically... Ah, this is what we want. So yeah, console.table is incredible because it basically in your command line lets you show a table of data, which makes it so much easier to quickly scan and like see trends in. So like I really recommend if you've not used it before, check it out. You do have to like data mangle it a bit sometimes. But like that is like the pro tip you're getting from me today. Console.table exists. It will change your life. So yeah, we can see here now, right, there's no real point of us displaying dividend amount because it's like always 0. And there's like no real point of us displaying split coefficient because it's always 1.0. So like, yeah, Adam's like, whoa, that's cool. But yeah, so I think open and close is worth showing, like the highs and the lows maybe. Obviously this is not going to be like the most beautifully displayed stuff ever because like I don't necessarily know much about, or to be honest, anything about stocks. But like we can at least try like a go at showing different types of data. And so I know what we need to get into our front end to get it displaying is a certain format. We need these labels and we need the data. And so what we need to do is effectively have one list of the labels. And let's say for one, like, let's say one list of labels, one list of open and one list of close. That's what we'll get started on. And so, let's have a go. So we need to, let's just comment this out for now. And I want to go and like store this. So I want to say for item in data. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to think. Is there a better way of doing this? I could probably map it, but I kind of don't want to because this is all like ew. And I don't really want to tempt the beast. So let's just do for... How do I do a for loop in JavaScript? JavaScript for item in... is this an array? It's an object, I think. What is this? What are we dealing with? It is a... It's a list. Is it a list? It's an array? It's an array? I think it's an array. It's an object. Okay, whatever. JavaScript for item in object. I get the feeling this is going to behave slightly unexpectedly, but that's fine. Let's, for item in data. Console.log. I keep doing it like Python, and I'm like, this isn't Python. Console.log item. Let's see what that gets us, because I'm like, this might work, it really might not. Why is this not liking it? Did I screw up the syntax? I very possibly did. Next for code. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let me just make sure this is being pulled. Item is not... Oh, hang on. For let... Oh, let's do... for var item. It's super difficult when you're switching between languages and it's like all slightly different. You dislike Safari because it doesn't have a built-in game. And you have really weird priorities for browsers. You really, really do. So I'm fairly sure this should work, but I'm tired enough and I'm not 100% sure. So we're going to find out. Okay, so it's... so yeah, I'm looping through the wrong thing. I actually want to loop through data time series daily. That's what I'm doing wrong. And here we go. So now for each of these, I have one of these. And I'm console.logging item. But, this is like actually horrible data to deal with. So I probably want to have a go at console.logging instead of just the item. The data, let's look, what does that data look like? So let's do data item. So this is like the index. So this is what we're sorting by. They've done this in such a strange way. And then we're going to do, let's try getting just console.logging the, in fact, let's just do the entire thing first. Let's see if that works. Adam's got an important question, and that is, how do you get a blahage in Sims 4? I don't know, but if you can work it out, that'd be brilliant. And also, yeah, the pains of switching between JS and Python, like, I can deal with, like, switching between React and Python, because, like, they're different enough. But, like, just vanilla JavaScript is just, like, I can't deal with it. And I'm doing that wrong, because I actually want to get data time series daily item. Ew. Please, if you're ever building an API, do not build it like this. There we go. Okay, cool. I mean, it's still horrible, but we now have the ability to loop through these and like add them. And so I'm going to go and create 3 different variables. I'm going to say, let me think. I probably want to do let because I want it to be changed. Const isn't going to make sense. Var is going to be weird with scope, I think. So let's just use scope. So sorry, let's do let. Open equals do, let close equals do, and also let date equals do. Okay, and what we're going to do now is for each of these, I want to go and so append list JavaScript. No, append array JavaScript. I have literally spent way too long dealing with Python today, and it's like my brain is totally frazzled on how not Python works. It's push, isn't it? That's it. So we're going to do date.push, and we want to push. Who designed this? Like, it's just not nice. And we want to push one.open. Who? No, sorry, not data. I want to do open for that. I want to do close.push. And it's called, let's look, what is it called? The music's probably stopped, hasn't it, Lee? Here's some music again. Have music again, friends. You deserve music. There we go. Yeah, it's like, this API was definitely designed for pandas enthusiasts. Like, yeah, it's definitely not really designed for people trying to use it in JavaScript, is kind of my suspicion, which is kind of, it's okay, but it does make things incredibly painful, let's say. I'm going to do date.push, and we're going to do just item. Cool. So this, in theory, let's get rid of these, and let's try doing, once we've done this for loop, let's do console.log date. Why are you not working? Okay, whatever. I think, honestly, this, like, glitch is not my friend today. Open and close. And so, theoretically, these will all be the same length, and they're going to work when the API is no longer rate limited. So let's find out, and let's see what we get. Okay. Okay. Gotta scroll all the way down, because Safari doesn't do it automatically. So here's our list, and here's our list. Okay. So we now have 3 perfectly valid lists. Well, this is pretty great. And Nathan's just like, oh, is glitch being glitchy? Wow, Nathan, wow. Okay, so we've got these. We've got them stored in the format our table needs. Incredible. Okay. Now, what we need to go and do is, well, we need to include some more emojis, but we'll get to that in a second. We're going to do a quick refactor. So we are gonna go and get all of this ugliness. And now remember, this script is being called after chart.min.js is being called. So we can presume that is already set up and ready to go. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, hey, do these, like pull this data. And then once you've pulled it, oh, I just copied white space. I hate my life right now. Let's go get this again. Cool, yeeted and yeet and yeet. Okay. Script.js, let's paste this in. Let's go and fix this horrible indentation because I screwed it up because that's my life. It's like normally I would like be telling you like cool stories of things that have happened at work today and like all the different cool things at a hackathon, but like quite frankly, nothing really fun is happening right now in my life. It's just kind of like, do you ever have one of those days or like one of those weeks where it's like everything is fine, but everything's kind of like nothing's really going on. Like nothing's really blowing my mind. That's my life today, friends, and it's like my life over the week. I'm not at a hackathon this weekend though, so I'm actually gonna have a chance to relax, which is very exciting. So let's go and say, hey, our labels are gonna be our dates. So labels is gonna be date, and we're gonna do opening price, and that data is gonna be open. And we're going to do our closing price. And that's going to be the data close. Okay. Well, that's not working, is it? So let's have a look in our console and see what happens. Just curious what happens if a list of data don't match, if the data comes in null. Very interesting question. We'll have a look in a second, PKK, because I am also curious. Because this is definitely not like a perfect way of doing this or anything. Like, definitely not. It's just a very kind of quick and dirty way of doing it. Okay, why is this not working? Unexpected token data. Oh, I am stupid and forgot a colon. That's a comma even. And I also forgot a comma there. Did I include an open? I did. Okay. 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 We've got GME data about the stonk on a graph, and isn't that beautiful? Okay, but these are thick red lines. Let's go and customize it a bit. Let's make them not quite thick and red. You know, sometimes you don't want everything to be thick in your life. And so I want my... What happens if I get rid of this background color? How does that work? I don't really want a background color. I want my border color to be, say, blue. How does that look? Okay, so the API is currently yeeting slightly. How do I set the border width? Because these are really thick lines. Well, let's have a look. Let's go and have a look at chart.js border width. It does look cool. You can actually see the incredible, like, it's going to the moon. You can see where it's going to the moon. And I think border width is a thing we can use. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. It is by default free. Interesting. Are we overriding this here? Interesting. It's just, I'm surprised it's so thick. But that's fine. That's fine. We can fix this. So we're going to do border width is going to be equal to 1. How does that look? That's better. Now it doesn't look so bigly. And we're going to go into this one as well. We're going to set the border width to be equal to 1 on here. And, you know, these colors are ugly. Let's go on to flat UI colors. Let's go and grab a nicer one. We're going to go on Canada because, oh, Canada. And we're going to grab a nice Nasu purple. We can use that. Let's go and pop that there and pop that here. And we'll go and set our border color opening price to be this. And, you know, we'll use like, this nice pastel red for our closing price. Why not? Okay. So we have this. Now, these points are gigantic. We want slightly smaller points. So let's have a look. Point border color, the border width. It's all just huge, I think, is the key thing that's really like ugly. How do we make them less huge is a question I don't have the answer to. Because they're huge, these points. I think if we turn these down to 4, that might be a good size. Or it might just break the entire app. That is also true. You can't just be like, Jack, you broke it. Oh my God, I didn't break it. It just had an accident. Okay, well, I'll change it back. I'll let it come back when the API is no longer yeeting with our incredible error checking, you know? And like, what I want to do say is like, I know this hasn't been like a super meme-filled stream. Like, you know, I'm not in the most memey mood today. We've still got Pahaj, he's still here, he still loves you. But like, I hope you've seen how quickly you can like spin up a small project, right? In 2 hours, we built something like this. And don't get me wrong, it's not incredible. Like, it's not the best thing you've ever seen in the world. But we built this in like less than 2 hours. And so, okay, I have no idea why changing that breaks it, but whatever, it does. But like, the key thing I want you to see is that like, hey, you can build like a cool little project very, very quickly. You know, ultimately, you know, we got such a small amount of time, but we designed this, we built it, we brainstormed it, and we somehow like managed to get it to work. And so I think the key thing I want to tell you is like, if you're ever stuck there, you're stuck at home in lockdown, you're like, I want to build a project, but you know, I don't really have the energy to build a project, then, you know, the key thing I want to say is you don't need to have the energy. Like, that's fine. You can chill. You know, you don't need to build some gigantic projects every single project. You can actually, instead of doing that, because, you know, you're probably not going to enjoy things if you do that, like, you literally can just build a cool project and just like build something where it's very basic like this. It shows you something nice. Hello, BK, how you doing? But yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't know why it breaks, but I don't care. Yeah, I quite frankly couldn't care less why it breaks. You know, I don't have a magical fix right now, and that's fine. But the most important thing is, we need to add a very important thing, and that is hello, friends. Sorry, my internet died for a second there. Hello, this is recorded. Yes, you can check it on MLH's Twitch. It'll be on there and also on MLH's YouTube. So we've got Moon, GME. Hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, you came late, you're at work. That's fine. We will be wrapping up soon because we're nearly at time, but do not worry because this is always gonna be online. I'm a poet and I never know it. Cool. So you all have homework. And I'm sorry, and I know you don't like homework, but you have homework. I'm gonna send you this. Here we go. I'm throwing it in Twitch chat. You can actually go on this now and have a go. Like, it might get rate limited, but like, you can genuinely go and use this website I just created. Like, and we did this so quick. And so, you know, I can see in the logs as you come in. But what I'm gonna say is I want you to create, you know, your own version of this. Get what I've created and build on it. You know, make it so it can pull data in real time. Make it so it can work for more than just GME. Make it so you can do cool things with it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and grab you the ability to remix this projects. You absolutely can tell your professors that you need to work on Blahajam. That is totally cool. Like, it's just cool, right? You know, we've managed to build something like this, and it works. Like, we did this. And so that is your homework. To take this, build something cool, and also, I mean, search chat lenses are also cool. But yeah, I want you to get this, remix it. I'm gonna send you a link so you can do that and do it even in your browser in Glitch. And then I really, like, genuinely, I want to see what yours look like. So tweet me at JackBiggin and also share them in the MLH Twitch, in the MLH Discord, because it's always really, really interesting to see all the different cool things you've built. So in chat, I'm putting a link to a glitch project. And this glitch project is all the code I've just written. And so you can go to this glitch project, you can click remix this, and it will be your very own copy of the code. So you don't need to worry about breaking my version. You've got your own version. You should get your own API key from alphavantage.com, just because otherwise you are going to get rate limited by everyone else. But what I want you to do is I want you to have a go at making your own version of this. And then when you've made it, what I want you to do is obviously send it to me, let me see it, but also head over to the dev post. I've been asked to go, and I think Adam wants me to go and throw, so like, it's me, hello. Can you throw the link in on Discord? Yes, I can. I will do that shortly. I'll throw it in the announcements channel, actually. In fact, anyone's after the link. Here it is. There you go. So it's there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go on dev post. We're all going to submit them. And I really, really want to see you submit yours as well. So yeah, let's go and throw these in here. And we're going to say we're going to start a project. My amazing GME stock tracker. My elevator pitch is why not? And I'm going to save and continue. Just like some dev post for a hackathon. Inspiration. I was bored. And Ryan gave me the motivation to come on stream for MLH. What it does, it badly shows a graph about GME, which other people are going to fix how we built it. Typing things up is hard, but yeah, you should definitely make sure you do submit yours to dev post. How we built it: blood, sweat, tears. Challenge you run into: staying awake. Accomplishment proud of: staying awake. What we learned: Adam is bad at memes, and Jack is also bad at memes when she's tired. I called it my Amazon GME stock tracker. That's fine. We'll change it to amazing. We'll change it to amazing. We'll fix it. And what's next? Adam and Nathan will fix it. Cool. Built with life. And we can try it out using the link there. So I'm going to save and continue. I'm going to go and submit this over. I'm completing the Monday, March 8th challenge. Save and continue. I agree to these terms and conditions, and it's now on dev post. And I am now going to go and change it to be from my Amazon to my amazing. Because we've got to spell things right, friends. We've got to spell things right. And that is close enough. Close enough. Close enough. And that is it. You can submit yours to dev post too. So that is what I want you to do. Grab this, have fun remixing it, building your own, use my code as a start, but I genuinely want to see what you can create. PKK is, thank you so much for the stream, first time watching and it's really interesting. Thank you for joining the Bahaj gang. Normally we have more memes on these streams, but like tonight has been the super important serious one. So like, you think this is memes? Just wait till local hack day share, because I am here for the memes. Just today, my memes were a little bit dampened because I'm a bit quiet. I also am on some more challenges. We maybe forgot to advertise this one, which is why there's so few of you here. But like, honestly, that's okay. Like, it's chill just to have a few of you. It lets me have like a hangout time with you and just have fun. But we're going to be promoting these and advertising these soon, but I'm going to give you a very early preview of what's coming up. So, on Friday this week at 6 p.m. EST, we're going to connect some APIs together, and I'm thinking we're going to connect them into Discord. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And then on Monday, March 22nd, are you ready for this? We are building... In fact, no, you're not ready for this, because this is just incredible. We are going to be building a Melons versus Dinos website. When that is going to be the pure meme stream. So just to repeat myself, on the 22nd, Monday 22nd of March, we are doing a pure meme stream. We are doing Melons versus Dinos. It is going to be literal memes and nothing else, and it's going to be incredible, and you're going to love it. And it's at, I think it's probably 6 p.m. EST, but I'm going to double check for you. It's at 6 p.m. EST. So not too late for you, Adam. Only like 11 p.m. So that's not too bad. And so with that, it's time for me to say bye to you all. But definitely have a go at doing this challenge yourself. Have fun. And make sure you do show me what you create. Tweet me at JackBiggin. And feel free to connect on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/JackBiggin. Also, if you want mediocre YouTube content, youtube.com/JackBiggin is also where you want to be. But with that, it's time for me to say bye to all of you. I hope you've had fun. And hopefully my energy hasn't been too dampened by the fact I'm about to go to bed. But with that, thank you so much for joining us here. Have a great one. I'll leave you with an MLH promo, and then I'm going to bed because it's now 10:30. But have a good one, friends. Hope you all get some rest too. You're all awesome. And I will see you on Friday for connecting APIs through Discord. And there's going to be some very, very spicy memes. See you, friends, and have an amazing rest of your evening.
Hackathon is a weekend-long invention competition. Students show up on a Friday or Saturday, dream up a crazy idea like a website, a mobile app, or a robot, and then bring it to life over the course of a weekend and share it with their peers.
From Germany and Spain here that I was talking to earlier, like people coming all over the world to come to these things.
We support tens of thousands of students at hundreds of universities to help them learn, build, and share brand new technology creations with the world.
It's like you always have these ideas and you know there's so much you can do, but until you come to Hackathon you don't realize you can actually do it.
For me, the most inspiring part is, like the fact that sponsors are sending like the engineers to come here and talk to us, and we can learn so much from them.
We always look out for the new talent, new entrepreneurs to build new businesses so that we can really help them in that.
Hackers who attend MLH events are not the type of hackers that you hear about on the news. They're not breaking into banks or stealing your credit card. These are people who love the process of creating technology.
The energy and the passion that they have, I think we all need to pitch in and give them a wonderful experience.
Like just the amount of people that I've met through hackathons, the amount of like super cool friends I've met that are also passionate about building stuff, about just like making things and being creative.
This is my first one, jumping in deep into the pool, so yeah, I'm excited.
You come in and like oftentimes you don't know what you're doing, right? And it's just the ability to learn on the spot, to meet people who can teach you, to figure out a way of solving a problem.
Don't feel pressured to have to create something. Just go for it, because the experience in itself is definitely worth it.